Hi, um, I'm Matthew. I'm going to talk to. This is outdated Donald Trump. I found a video. It's interesting. It's just a story. The second countdown. Second. I can't pronounce that word now. Segments, whatever it is, but about like voting and like like voting, like just. I found videos, so you can listen. Like, wow, you, yeah, whatever.
How inarticulate do we have to be to try and understand the twists and turns that some people are making to explain this gaffe? Had this been the only gaffe? Maybe. But here's my question to Republican leaders who still endorse Trump. And we'll show it to you again and let you all decide. But here's my question. What more does he need to say?
Let's show
What more does he need to do?
Let's show it again.
I don't understand. What more does he need to say to prove that he is not fit to be your nominee? On the campaign trail yesterday, deep division over what Donald Trump said and what he meant while talking about the Second Amendment. Listen for yourself.
Hillary wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, and if she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, that will be a horrible day. PhD, I don't know what a PhD in grammar is, you know? Not the same thing. But if you could have a PhD in grammar, you know, I would have gotten that. You don't need one of those to just realize that this is once again Donald Trump saying something so completely out of bounds, and this time so dangerous that the Secret Service had to even let Americans know that they are aware of the comment. First time ever.
We have the reaction. Let's go around the table first.
Well,
tons of reaction from Washington and around the country.
Willie Geist, just as I was insulted when Hillary Clinton and Hillary Clinton's people tried to tell me what was the truth when I knew they were lying after the UN press conference, I was so insulted last night by people trying to tell me what I didn't hear. So insulted. I actually, how stupid do they think we are? How stupid do they think we are?
I was watching this live.
Yeah.
And I was actually writing something at the time, and it caught my ear to the point I stopped, kind of rewound the DVR and said, did he say what I think he said? Because I couldn't believe he said it. He did. You don't need a PhD in grammar, you need a PhD in logic, because what he said was, if she gets to pick the judges.
If she is elected, after she is elected.
Which means she's already president. Nominees don't get to pick Supreme Court justices. So that means she's already president. So the explanation and the defense that this was about Second Amendment and gun rights advocates gathering together to stop her from being elected so she can pick judges doesn't hold up.
It's just stupid. Mike.
Well, in continuation with his constant reference to a rigged election, trying to delegitimize the election process, his comment about the Second Amendment yesterday, in a country that is awash in weapons and guns, in a country that is filled to a certain extent with a lot of anger over what's happened over the last 10 or 15 years, Donald Trump's candidacy is now toxic to democracy.
Mark Alperin, you said social media and cable commentators tempted to justify what Trump said or deflect to another topic should think twice and then think again. And you also had said earlier in the day that obviously the Secret Service, you didn't know whether they were going to act on it, but you were sure they were absolutely livid about this threat.
Even if you wanted to give their explanation the benefit of the doubt, which is hard to do, you can't say things like that and then not come back and not be defiant, but apologetic without letting this drag on. He wants to talk about the economy today.
Nobody's talking about anything but the
Nobody's
fact
talking about
that he's suggesting to his supporters that they assassinate his
Let's
opponent.
just leave it.
His supporters can fight back. He can say this isn't what he meant, but you cannot say something like that, have people interpret it the way it's been widely interpreted, and be defiant without causing more.
John Meacham, if you could think of one word that describes this, what would it be?
Disqualifying. I think that temperamentally he crossed a Rubicon yesterday, and it's one of a number of examples. But ultimately, I'm like Willie. I was watching it. I was like the guy in the back who sort of turned to his wife and said, "Oh my God, did you hear that?"
Yeah.
You know, it's very clear, common sense what he meant. The key phrase there is "I don't know." You know, so it's an attempt. He was almost walking it back as he said it, and you know, historically, you just cannot have a president of the United States or a candidate for president who talks this way.
And John Meacham, he's doing two things here, isn't he? Can you explain what he's doing in that he's putting a suggestion out there to the most unhinged and putting a dog whistle out there? You know, people in the South during dark, difficult times would do the same thing, and it's a dog whistle. And then he pulls it back for polite society, going, "Oh, I was just joking."
No.
Oh, the explanation is particularly pathetic. I mean, it's just it's Orwellian, really. I'm talking about organizing political support to stop. It just doesn't track. You don't need a PhD in grammar. You don't need a PhD in logic. You just need basic democratic, lowercase d, common sense.
Right.
And that's what he said. It's dangerous. Mike used a great word, toxic. There are three things. There are three elements that history tells us presidents need to have in their temperament. One's a sense of proportion. One's a sense of humility and an ability to learn from mistakes. And the third is a sense of dignity, because you do represent the state and the government in your person. On all three scores, Trump falls woefully short.
The word, Mika, that's been thrown around many times about Donald Trump over the course of the past year has been fascism. I always brushed it back because a key element in fascism was a call to violence. I said he never crossed that Rubicon. There was never a call to violence. There was never a call to an armed uprising. This is the suggestion that if she's elected president of the United States, the one thing that quotes Second Amendment people, which is an insult to the millions and millions of people that fight to defend the Second Amendment, is to kill her or to kill judges. That is, he crossed a lot of Rubicons yesterday.
He crossed the line to disqualifying. The reaction was swift, and not just from Democrats. Conservative columnist John Fedoretz tweeted, he not only implied assassination, he implied that Second Amendment supporters are all potential assassins. The Weekly Standard's Bill Kristol added, in the general pattern of Trump damaging everything and everyone he touches, he's now hurting the cause of defense and the Second Amendment. Conservative writer Wes Lewis posted, HRC is an awful presidential candidate. She is not, however, a free pass for Trump to act ballistically unhinged. And former press secretary to Newt Gingrich, Rich Galen, wrote, has the Secret Service ever arrested a protectee? As we mentioned, the Secret Service tweeted they were aware of Trump's comments, and former CIA director, retired General Michael Hayden, who recently signed a letter with 49 other Republican national security officials saying Trump would put the country at risk, had this to say.
Someone else had said that outside the hall. He'd be in the back of a police wagon now with the Secret Service questioning him. I used to tell my seniors at CIA, you get to a certain point in this business, you're not just responsible for what you say. You're responsible for what people hear. And that might be a good lesson here.
The Trump campaign responded to the backlash with a statement titled, On Dishonest Media. Quote, it's called the power of unification. Second Amendment people have amazing spirit and are tremendously unified, which gives them great political power. And this year they will be voting in record numbers. And it won't be for Hillary Clinton. It will be for Donald Trump. Trump retweeted support from the NRA. They posted, Donald Trump is right. If Hillary Clinton gets to pick her anti-Second Amendment Supreme Court judges, there's nothing we can do.
But hold on. He said there was something they could do. And that is the entire point.
And then he said it would be horrible.
The NRA just set them up, Mike Barnicle, because Donald Trump did say, there's nothing you can do. And he goes, oh, wait a second. There is something that maybe the Second Amendment people can do after she gets elected.
You know, I don't know whether Donald Trump realizes the power of his own words or not. I don't know what's in his mind. But the power of words here, coming from a presidential candidate,
with a rabid following.
With an intensely rabid following.
Yeah, where he can say whatever he wants to say on one day, say something else the next day, something completely different the next day, something completely different the next day, and they follow him no matter where he goes. As he said himself, I could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and I wouldn't lose a vote. Donald Trump testifying himself to the power of his own words. So when those words suggest the possible assassination.
Never imagine what Donald Trump's saying that, but he should go to jail for saying that, because that's not right to do. But yeah, he knows he wants all the vote instead of Hillary Clinton. That's what he's saying. But it's not too definite. But I think he needs to be out. I think that's really, he needs to be out, because he's saying that we don't need him. But I don't know why if people want to support him, because he wants to say that to people. He would just make it threats. Yeah, listen more.
Nation of his political opponent, if she were to be elected, then those words have consequences.
And yesterday's performance will have consequences. It already has had consequences. But it gets to something that Jim Rutenberg wrote about on Monday. And it's a question for the media. And it's a question of whether do we legitimize Donald Trump's performances, and they are performances, by trying to be objective about it, by bending over backwards to try to be objective about what he said yesterday. I don't think you can be objective about it.
No, you can't.
But the role of the media in this is going to, I think, come under increasing surveillance. I mean, how are we covering this?
Well,
what he said yesterday was so out of bounds, so beyond the pale. There really is no other side. From his explanation of the Second Amendment, repealing the Second Amendment.
But here's the problem, Mike. You have Trump defenders and apologists bending over backwards, trying to explain away his remark. Conservative author Ann Coulter tweeted, I just woke up from a nap to an all-new fake media scandal about Trump. He's joking about assassinating Hillary, saying, number one, it wasn't about assassination, and number two, the media is trying to get Trump assassinated by incessantly calling him Hitler. Excuse me? And shortly after winning his primary last night, Republican House Speaker Paul Ryan gave Trump the benefit of the doubt.
I've been a little busy today. I heard about this Second Amendment quote. It sounds like just a joke gone bad. I hope he clears it up very quickly. You should never joke about something like that. I didn't actually hear the comments. I only heard about those comments.
Really? Was that really what you're going to say? Is that what you're going to say? You didn't hear them, therefore you didn't know? Paul Ryan, enough.
If you're the
what more does he need to do?
If you're the highest ranking Republican in America, and you have heard that the Republican nominee may have threatened or suggested that his political rival is assassinated, especially with the environment that we're in 2016, do you actually make it your business to look at the 20-second YouTube clip? First of all, I don't believe you. I'm sure he saw it. He hasn't. How busy? I've been in races where you win 80%. You're not that busy.
No.
Right?
No.
I want a primary,
something like
I want a primary with 79, 80%. I'm not too busy to say, somebody say, hey, did you hear that the Republican nominee, George W. Bush just threatened to well, you would stop and you would watch it. And
That's heartbreaking to watch.
It is very sad to watch that. This is a whole new level, and I hope that Paul Ryan, when he gets his wits about him this morning, will actually do the right thing. This is unspeakable.
The most charitable explanation you can take out of what Donald Trump said is that he was talking about defenders in Congress of the Second Amendment standing in the way of the nomination. But that's not what Donald Trump said. That's not what he said. That's not what he was saying. That's the charitable look at it. But the statement the campaign put out was not reflective of what Donald Trump said. They were defending something that was not what he said. He went on and said something else that they were talking about, him, Second Amendment people uniting to vote to stop Hillary Clinton from being president. That's not what Donald Trump said. His surrogates also coming out to defend him, including Rudy Giuliani, and even someone who doesn't support him, Senator Susan Collins of Maine.
He was talking about Hillary Clinton and gun control, essentially, which is something that has been talked about a lot on the campaign trail. Hillary Clinton is a gun grabber, and everyone knows if she's in a position to appoint Supreme Court justices, she will do everything she can to remove the Second Amendment. So Mr. Trump was clearly pointing that out.
It's not about.
That's actually not what he was talking about, because just before that, he was saying what could happen, as you just said, what could happen. And he doesn't want that to happen.
So the Clinton people, this is how corrupt they are. From their days back in Arkansas, they were corrupt. This is how corrupt they are. They spin out that what he meant by that was that it was a joke, and that what he meant by that was that they would kill her. Now, to buy that, you have to be corrupt. Because if you said that to me, I would say to you, are you out of your mind?
I've been very critical of Donald Trump, but I actually don't think that's what he was saying. I think he was suggesting that the Second Amendment advocates across the country might be able to come together to pressure the Senate to reject her nominee should she become president. That's how I interpreted it. But it is an example of Donald Trump's.
See, I don't believe that. 1 second they say about Donald Trump to get Hillary Clinton not be the president. About him. Come on. He knows what he's saying. He knows what. He knows he did wrong. He should not be a president. He should not say it at all or joking about it. This is a serious matter. It doesn't matter if he's joking or not. This is serious. That's serious business they did. That's serious. This is a serious problem here. That's what I'm looking at right now. That's not right, because he's so not out there. Because I want to get more deeper than this too. So this is an interesting thing, me. But yeah, it's more
looseness with language that can lead to interpretations that, such as the one put out by Secretary Clinton's camp.
Second Amendment solutions, Mark Hubbard, and then that would be a horrible day. It was very painful watching Rudy Giuliani, a guy that I've respected for a very long time. do that routine.
One of the worst was Paul Ryan.
Very, very. And Paul Ryan is just shocking. This is
shocking.
Is Paul Ryan, is he going to burn up every last ounce of his reputation and credibility that he's built over 20 years for a lifelong liberal Manhattan Democrat?
Please, Paul Ryan, go home and spend more time with your family.
I mean,
is he going
you need
to
to be
do
grounded.
You know, Ryan now has won his primary, and like every Republican, he said, you know, Trump doesn't have a blank check. You cannot say something like that and then be defiant. Even if you want to credit their explanation, their after-the-fact explanation, you cannot responsibly say, you know, basically, you know, ignore how people are feeling about what he said. He is a protectee. He's had threats on his life. Donald Trump should understand that you cannot say something like that and expect people to just move on.
But you know what? He can't. Mark Halperin, everybody, just stop. He can't stop. This is proven again and again and again and again. He can't stop himself. He is a train wreck going 1,000 miles an hour. It is about the Republicans around him now. The story is about you. And I don't mean to have a nasty tone when I say to Paul Ryan, go home and spend some time with your family.
You're a Democrat. Let me say this, okay? Because it means nothing coming from you, okay? You're a Democrat.
Excuse me?
It means nothing coming from a Democrat to these Republicans.
Well, actually, the Democrats are going to win the election. So if you want to actually have a fighting chance, you're going to have to do something that makes sense.
Let me say this to my Republican Party. You are letting Donald Trump destroy the party. And you've done it from the beginning. We've said from the very beginning when he started blowing himself up, when Paul Ryan endorsed him, that it's only going to get worse. And it just keeps getting worse, doesn't it?
And when I say go home and spend time with your family, I mean look at your children in the eyes. Look at your wife in the eyes and really ask if you are doing the right thing, because you were doing the wrong thing by supporting this candidate. You were doing the wrong thing 10 times over. You're hurting this country for your political benefit, and you're making the wrong play even in terms of your political benefit. And I'm sorry that I'm a Democrat, and it means nothing coming from me. But I'm telling you, that's how this story ends. And someone's going to get hurt. I am.
You're mad
at me? That's fine. A little bit, yeah.
I was making a point that they're just going to say, oh, you're a Democrat.
Okay, well, good. When I turn out to be right, like I have been every step of the way, you all can enjoy saying it means nothing coming from me. We end this block.
No. You're not going to do that. I was simply making the point that they're listening to you, and a lot of them might be saying, oh, she's just a Democrat. So I was going to say, as a Republican, I agree with your sentiment. Let me say it. I think you've made your point, and I think I've made my point.
Okay.
So I wasn't cutting you off, and I wasn't saying, I'm just saying a lot of Republicans out there would say, oh, she's a Democrat. So what does it mean? In fact, we've had people say that to your face. What do you expect? Michael Steele says that. What do you expect, Mika, for us to just go home?
I just can't believe where we're at right now.
Well, I can't either. So I agree with you. I mean, let's unite and not divide. I'm sort of George W. Bush that way.
Before we go in this block, could I ask John Meacham down there in Tennessee? You're not in Manhattan. Right. So this has had a chance to wash over you and people you know for nearly a day now. Anything even close to this in history?
No, I mean, what you get to is, you know, and this is a terrible analogy to bring up, but you do get to the ferocity of what was going on in Texas in 1962 and 63. There was, an enormous amount of hate. There was an enormous amount of, Adlai Stevenson was jostled. Lady Bird Johnson was jostled. There was, as President Kennedy said when he went into Texas, we're heading into nut country today. So there is a sense that there's a more fervid atmosphere than it needs to be. And what's interesting is there's a slight disconnect because we saw this at the convention with Trump. His rhetoric does not necessarily resonate with folks who I think a lot of people are in a place where they're actually more positive about the country than Trump's rhetoric is. What happened when I saw this yesterday, when my 14-year-old son saw it, was Can you really talk like that? And the answer is no, you can't. And words matter has become a cliche, but when you're president of the United States, words matter. Shoot from the hip, as you said, Mika, is his brand. It's what he does. You can't talk that way when you're president of the United States. You can't say, well, maybe we'll just wipe Iran off the map. So, you can't throw that stuff out there.
All right, why don't you use nukes?
But he does.
But you also can't talk like that as a Republican nominee.
No, that's right. But before you even get to be president, you shouldn't talk the way. But also, if you just go to begins with the locker up. We've been to the rallies where you have people shouting things, killer, things they were shouting at Sarah Palin rallies about Barack Obama. And now you get to this next level. It feels like it's just a chant in the room, but when you have the candidate from the podium talking this way, it changes the dynamic totally. You got to be careful. It's got to stop.
And people on the right shouldn't try to appease themselves or make themselves feel better by saying this is liberal media bias.
Yeah.
This isn't a case of that.
No. And I speak from just to our conversation, Joe, I speak from a position of somebody who has been extremely critical of Hillary Clinton. So it's not as if I'm saying what I'm saying for partisan reasons.
Right.
I'm actually frightened right now. And I can't believe that there are leaders that are allowing this. Right. That their job is to lead. So
you have been extremely critical of Hillary Clinton. Just at that precise moment, since we were going to say the same thing, I thought, let's have a Republican say it instead of a Democrat. Just like when you criticize Hillary Clinton, that has more of an impact than when I criticize Hillary Clinton.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching.
Okay, that's the. I know. I would agree with the leaders, not why they put him up there to begin with. They know what he is going to be capable of doing. He's no joke matter. He's going to make it worse and worse and worse. Like 200% bad. I know, it's really, really ridiculous. Let's see. Let me find a button. Well, I'm gonna really want to talk. Now, what they're saying is Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, the Second Amendment, like voting and stuff like that. They about 15 something, and it, yeah, 15, like, okay, voting for presidents, like voting, either he thinks he needs ID, because 15, because Harry got 15, then he says about he can't lose by a girl. Well, leave the thing where it is, and I don't know why he's saying that, but he needs to stop. We need to get him out of there fast. Please subscribe and like and comment what you think and all this. Please subscribe, subscribe and comment what you like. Let me know. Let me know what you think.